Hey guys, this is 101 Smith, and this is it. The biggest and most anticipated build of the summer is here. The Master Grade Gundam Kyrios from Gundam 00. Now, this kit is something that, even as short as 3 years ago, I would not expect. You know, when I started this channel 3 years ago, there weren't really a lot of 00 Master Grades. You had Setsuna and the GNX. That's it. I started this channel reviewing the no grade 1100 kits because I thought, okay, we're gonna get the 1100s, and then because it's the 10th anniversary, we're gonna finally start to see Master Grades. Nope. But I wasn't too far off, thankfully. It took a while, but now we are, and now Allelujah is represented in Master Grade form. This is the follow-up to last year's Dynamis Gundam, and Dynamis was a grand improvement over the original Exia. A much sturdier frame, the details were better, the GM cables were implemented a lot better. It seemed like Bandai learned a lot from the Perfect Grade Exia and kind of scaled it back to Master Grade form. And now, you know, because they feel like 00 can sell again, we're finally getting Master Grades of it, and I'm just so excited. Now that we're here with Allelujah from a Season 1 kit. Is this going to be a grand improvement over the Arios? I'm pretty sure, but you know, let's just not leave it up to speculation. Let's see how and why it's such a grand improvement. So why don't we open up the box and see what we have. All built up, and Kyrios is here, and I gotta say, that orange is so bright, and even more so in 4K. Kyrios Gundam, the build was very similar to Dynamis. Obviously, it reuses a lot of the same inner frame, but it does have a lot of new tooling for that inner frame. I'd say about 75% Dynamis, 25% brand new. But otherwise, outside of the box, outside of the frame, this is a brand new kit, and all of the colors are here. The kind of NATO black, the bright orange, the white, the gray, the dark red, and the yellow. Kyrios looks as strong as he's possibly looked, and even though I gotta say, not a lot of panel lighting. That was actually a shocker when I built it. I was like, where's all the detail? A lot of the detail is built in, and there is panel lighting, but that's it. Everything is right there as you see it in front, and it looks impeccable. But while it looks good, let's check out the articulation. Starting off with the arm this time. Kyrios has a lot of moving joints, such as a triple jointed hinge on the arm. Arm can go up 360 degrees, as well as your traditional bicep swivel, and what I like to call the double O triple joint elbow with the wrist as well. The wrist has a hinge and can go out and in and can rotate 360 degrees. And to know, it does use the double O swappable hands. You're gonna get a double jointed waist as well as chest movement. And since it borrows heavily from Dynamis, you are gonna be able to keep that forward moving joint. So you're gonna get like triple joints as you really think about it. You're gonna get this part of the back of the shoulder that can swivel. It's on a ball joint, and that's part and due for the transformation. Legs, oh my god, the legs. So obviously it has like the modern Master Grade hips of being able to slot down, but also this thing can go perpendicular, no problem. It's just sturdy and it's really strong. You're gonna get double jointed knees, and that kind of wind binder doesn't really get in the way. The joint kind of revolves around it. And you're gonna get triple jointed ankles, which really help, and you're gonna get a really pointed down toe joint, but that's more in due in part for the transformation. Otherwise, Kyrios can pose on its own on the ground, but I highly suggest that if you get this kit, you're gonna want to get on an action base because it's gonna give you a lot more options, and you're gonna be able to pose it more epically. Because yeah, it's great on the ground, but this is a Sky Gundam. This is meant for bombardment and fast attacks. You need an action base. Accessory time, and we're gonna start with something a little bit different. So as I said, it has the double O kind of swappable hands, but this is something new that we're gonna see here. These are kind of like the control gauntlets for the Kyrios. what they do is you build these, they're a pair, and you connect it with the gun holding hand. And it swaps in and interfaces with all of the weapons. You don't have to swap the hand out and then take it out. You put it there and it interfaces with all the weapons, which I think is a huge innovation from Bandai. And I think it's pretty awesome, and I want to see that more in the future. Next up, we're gonna get the GN bombardment gear. It was only used like once in the anime, but if you played Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, you might remember it more from the heavy weapon set of the Aria. So how it works is you're gonna get these two black pieces that hook onto the forearm, and they connect onto kind of those pieces as well, and it looks like they're connected to the forearm. They look really great, they swivel, not very heavy, they're just like 5 pieces slapped together. And even though it was only a 1 episode inclusion, it's kind of cool that they added in there, especially when you got like the gauntlet hands kind of holding it like a remote control, and all the bombs and missiles are going out. Unfortunately, they don't really open up, there's nothing inside, so you're just gonna have to kind of work with it, but they're kind of a nice inclusion for something that was only in 1 episode of Double O. Next up, you are going to get the GN submachine gun and Kyrios' GN shield. Now, like the bombardment equipment, it actually interfaces with the Kyrios in the same way. You're going to connect one of the gauntlets onto the gun, and that's it. That's all you have to do. The shield connects onto the back of the forearm, and it says only on the left hand. Admittedly, I gotta say that the connection is kind of weak. It gets in, but it doesn't stay on that well. It can fall off very easily, and it gets frustrating sometimes. If you got the patience, you can still make it look great. The submachine gun weighs almost nothing, and the shield, once you get it out the way, can be menacing and kind of be on guard with that as well. The gun and the shield are a great tandem. Not a lot of detail, but put together. Well, okay. The shield has a lot of detail, but the gun has like a two-tone kind of thing with kind of a gunship gray and a darker black, and it works pretty good up to aesthetic. Like I said, posing with these two, the shield can be frustrating sometimes, but the gun, you just gotta think it and pose it. That's it. Now with the shield, it does have a lot of articulation. Obviously, it connects to the forearm, but you can, don't make that mistake like I did, but you can connect it on from opening it up like a giant lobster claw. And once you unhose it from the locking mechanism, you can move it essentially anywhere. This thing has a ton of maneuverability that I was not expecting it to have. I was expecting shoot and bang, kind of like the Blitz Gundam, but they added a lot more articulation than I possibly thought. And you can kind of recreate that deadly scene in Double O where Kyrios is slowly pulling its opponent in as it's stabbing into the horn. Unfortunately, the horn, it doesn't kind of scythe in and out. You gotta put it in and lock it in. Slight disappointment, but I can live with that. It's a great accessory. Now we get to the transformation, and holy crap, the easiest transformation I've ever dealt in Gunpla. Even easier than Wing and Wing Zero. Like literally, I saw the instruction manual for the transformation. It was like transforming the no-grade Oreos all over again. You flop the shoulders and the arms, you pull the legs down, pull the wing binders on the legs onto the side. That's it. The transformation is almost flawless. Not difficult at all, and it also reuses the forearm parts from the bombardment equipment so you can lock in the submachine gun, and the shield still connects the same way in the back of the forearm, so you can create its kind of maneuverability and transformation. Easiest transformation in the world, no frustration. It took me less than 5 minutes. The only thing is I couldn't do it on screen because it was just that difficult for me to shoot and look at the instruction manual at the same time. But easiest transformation ever. Comparisons. Now we have Master Grade Kyrios to No Grade Oreos. On my personal opinion, I like Oreos as a design more, but having the Master Grade next to the No Grade Season 2 upgrade, Kyrios, he's got a fair argument to make. The The orange is a lot brighter, a lot more built-in detail, and just a lot more of a striking presence, and you can't match a Master Grade at all. And next comparison, we have Dynamis to Kyrios. Now, you might be asking yourself, which one is better, Reggie? Dynamis or Kyrios? And I gotta say, they're about tied. Kyrios does things better than Dynamis, and Dynamis does things better than Kyrios. Kyrios obviously has the better equipment and actually has a lot more articulation than Dynamis, but Dynamis has a lot more stability and a lot more shelf presence, and I'll just leave it at that for now. But they are equally on par with each other. I can't put one over the other. They're just that equally made. Now we're at the end, and my final thoughts on the Kyrios is that it's a great Master Grade. It's not breaking the mold, it's not gonna excite you, it's not gonna be like if Jabman was here right now, I'm pretty sure this wouldn't be Master Grade of the Year. I think we have at least 2 more up for contention before that. When I think of the Kyrios, like I said earlier, it does things better than Dynamis, but Dynamis does things better than Kyrios. Obviously, Kyrios has better accessories, minus the shield. The shield is a great weapon to have, but the implementation isn't perfect. As I said before, it kind of falls off too easily and can get bumped easily. Kyrios has a lot more articulation, but that's due in part to its flight transformation. But regardless of that, has a lot more articulation than Dynamis. But Dynamis feels a lot sturdier than Kyrios. But I'd say on the sturdiness, Dynamis is like an 8.5. Kyrios is like a 7.75. Great amount of detail. Like I said, I was shocked at the lack of panel lining. Most of the detail is molded in, and I didn't really have to do much work. If you're a pure straight builder and you can clean up your nubs, this is a perfect kit for you. Now, I have one little issue, was that the front of the chest piece broke off on me in mid-build. I find that the orange pieces are a little bit more brittle than the rest of the kit, and they get damaged a bit easily. I had to glue that down, and all I was doing was putting the torso on top of the waist. So that just blew my mind. On the whole, Kyrios is a great addition to your 00 collection. He is going to stand great with Dynamis and Exia. And you know what? I'm going to call it right now. 2021, we're going to get the Virtue. And in 2022, for 00's 15th anniversary, we're going to get a remastered Exia. I'm just calling it right now. It is almost a gimme at this point. Just the frame is built for all 4. It might be a little bit difficult with Virtue because of the Virtue Noble, but this is Bandai. They're going to be able to figure it out. If they were able to implement an Alex 2.0, they could do Virtue and Noble. I'm not even worried anymore. Thank you guys so much for being patient, leading up to this momentous moment. I know it took some time. This build took me a little bit longer because real life got a little bit stressful. I'm starting to feel the heat from what's going on with the world, and I'll get into that in a different time. But thank you so much for paying attention. If you're new here, if you joined during this whole month-long kind of trail into the Kyrios giveaway, I thank you so much for joining me. I promise you some of the best content that I could possibly put in together when it comes to the giveaway. Be patient. It will be a live review, so pay attention, and hopefully the giveaway for both Kyrios and Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost On will be an epic event. It's 101 on Smith, and I'll see you later. Peace!